Yo, get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Bears. What's up, Bears fans? Welcome back to Bears on Track, your go-to source for hard-hitting Chicago Bears coverage, powered by the Chicago Sports Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Brandon Trax Hyatt. And listen, if you want to win in the NFL, you have to control the damn trenches. The Bears are right there. They have their franchise QB in Caleb Williams, and they have elite weapons. The defense is coming together, but there's one last piece missing, just like the big old juicy chicken breast that you like to have for your meal. We gotta secure it. What's it gonna be in round one, guys? We have to dominate in the trenches. You guys seen what happened? 68 freaking sacks on Caleb Williams, and we were giving up over 4.5 yards on the freaking ground pound, man. I could have got in there and got a couple yards if I would have just fell forward. But here's the deal, guys. What does this mean to us, okay? This means that in round one in 2025 NFL draft, the Chicago Bears must take one of these two absolute monsters. First on deck, who do we have? But none other than Kenneth Grant, the 340-pound defensive tackle who will destroy offensive lines. And also we have Will Campbell, the elite LSU left tackle who will protect Caleb Williams for a decade of dominance. And today, we're not just talking about these guys, folks. I'm bringing two of the sharpest minds in football to break all this down with me. And first on deck, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to bring to you Lester Wilfong, Chief Executive of the Windy City, the best chief executive in the history of ever. The guy that has been breaking down Bears football at the highest level for years. If you want in-depth analysis, nobody does it better than Lester. Lester, how you doing, brother?
Man, that's a hell of an intro. What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, bud. Oh, man, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing a lot better, but I'm going to be doing a lot better here once I bring in our next guest, David Scarborough, Coach Scarbs. Scarbs Nasty, one of the best football minds out there. He's been in the trenches. He knows offensive line play, defensive line play, the X's and O's, and he's going to give us a coach's perspective on why Will Campbell and Kenneth Grant could be a franchise tackle for the Bears, man. How you doing, Scarbs?
How you doing, guys? It's always great to be with you, Brandon, and my good longtime friend, Lester. We talk football all the time.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, and it's been a while since we've done it. I remember it was just like yesterday. You had your grease board out, you were drawing the X's and O's, breaking everybody down, all this stuff in between Madden death freaking games where you were battling for your freaking life against the Green Bay Packers, and now you're dating one. These guys are going to bring elite level analysis to the show, guys. So stay locked in on these Bears. So let's get into it, guys. Kenneth Grant, guys. Oh my. I'm so excited to break this guy down, man. Let's start with him. He's a 340-pound, 6'3" Michigan monster, light feet, heavy hands, and a total disruptor. Why Kenneth Grant is a must. First off, guys, he's got elite power and size. At 340 pounds, he collapsed pockets and dominates double teams. He's got an explosive first step. This guy isn't just eating blocks and eating lots of food. He gets upfield faster than the word of God. He's got the run defense, guys. He's over 30 plus run stops last season, top 5 among Power 5 defensive tackles. His pass rush is freaking phenomenal. 5.5 sacks from the interior. That's elite for a defensive tackle. And he's got rare athleticism. He ran a 5'11" 40-yard dash at 340 pounds. That's insane, guys. I guarantee you he gets it in the high 4s at the freaking buffet. So now, before we dive deeper, let's roll the tape, guys. If you guys don't mind, can we roll the tape really quick and play Kenneth Grant highlight reel? Is that cool with you guys?
Let's do it. Film never lies.
All right, man. Yeah, I like that. The tape never lies.
I've watched quite a bit on him. So, yeah.
Oh, really? That's good. So
Yes.
Listen, while we're rolling the tape, feel free to get nasty and just tell us exactly what you're seeing, okay?
Well, if you want to, I can just give you my overview of him while the tape rolls. Is that okay?
That'll work too, man. But if you see something that freaking is like that's right there, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm going to just tell you what I've gotten from watching this film that you're probably going to play. So
Nice. And really quick before we dive deep, man, shout out to everybody in the chat. We got tons of people in the building. Cheryl Childers giving us the White Sox updates and all the sports updates. We got Ricky Mosby.
who is that?
Guys.
Who? No.
Ricky Mosby?
No, I'm talking about the Sox. I was kidding around.
Oh, I gotcha. A little tongue in cheek there. All right, let's roll the tape. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh God, got that. Cut off the music playing over it.
Let me turn the sound down a little bit.
Yeah. So
There you go.
the things I've seen on Grant are that he is able to play both the 1 and the 3 technique. He's very good at block deconstruction, as you will see on these. He's also very active, as you can see here. He removes really well in a short area for such a big person. I believe he'll be able to, if the Bears still shift their defensive tackles to 3 and 1 technique, depending on the alignment, he'll be able to play
What
both.
did I just do? Oh no, this is bad.
Look at that big face.
Nope. Right? Who's that ugly guy?
Is that better? Is it
but
bad?
Yeah. But he's able to play either 1 or 3 technique. As you told by the sack totals that he had, he's a very good pass rusher. And a little extra for you, he's from Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
And I think
Shout
he
out.
has some Chicago ties, that his family is from the Chicago area.
Yeah, Maryville.
But
ain't he?
anyway,
Ain't he from
yes,
Maryville?
I'm like,
Or-
yep. Yes, he is.
Or is it Michigan City? I should know this. I live right there.
It's one of those two, but it's the
Yeah.
same, Northwest Indiana type of area.
Yep.
But
Oh, look at that.
you can see here the athleticism on this highlight.
Look at the
He's
hand.
very
Run him
aware.
to the Tight end, bro. Tight end.
Yeah, you could probably run him in there in a package for sure. You don't put anything past Ben Johnson.
Bro.
But I
like-
think this guy would be a nice fit at the number 10 spot. I prefer the Bears to go pass rusher in this slot, but you can never go wrong getting an interior guy who can play multiple interior positions. He can play 1 and 3 technique. For all of you who don't know what 1 and 3 techniques are in an even front, even front. It's the guy who's playing in the gap like he is right here between the center and the guard.
Yeah.
And then
Look
the
at that.
3 technique, the
Oh
3
my
technique
God.
is
That's
where I think
awesome.
he would play maybe in passing downs. The 3
Oh,
technique
man.
will be the
That's beautiful.
area between the guard and the tackle, freeing up the outside rusher.
Is that like go to sleep? Is that what he's saying? Let's go to sleep.
Yeah,
I
he's saying y'all. He's saying y'all are sleeping on me.
Gotcha. I like it.
Don't sleep on me.
Little showmanship.
But yeah,
too.
I was telling Lester this. I'm like, I love guys who have a little bit of that. People will call it cockiness. I call it, confidence.
Swagger. You gotta have that swagger.
Yes.
You know?
Swag,
The
bro.
swag, as the new kids say, as the cool kids say.
Now listen, this is pretty interesting right here because Iowa has a pretty good offensive line, as you guys.
Iowa has a fantastic.
Yeah, and tight ends, good blocks for the backs, the running backs and all this kind of stuff. So in order to get back there like that and disrupt and do that speaks volume right there, man. This guy.
Well, you can clearly tell on the tape he's a good block deconstructor.
Yeah,
where he just right there, the kid had no chance. He has quick, explosive hands, and to me, he's ideal for inside because my preference is not to have people that are over 6'4", 6'5" on the interior. I like the short, squatty build that he has. I like, believe it or not, I like defensive linemen that have a little bit of shorter arms because I believe it trades off on quick hands with them. Longer levers are slower hands, and to me, on the inside.
Well, I mean, he did check in at 6'4". But he's
he's right at the threshold.
He's so big, he just kind of looks like he's got that thing. And real quick, he's from Gary, Indiana.
Gary.
I knew it was Northwest Indiana.
What school did he play though? I don't think he played in Gary, did he?
I'm not sure of that one.
Yeah,
I'm not sure with that one either.
This guy's got all the tools to make us look good.
Look at that! Look at that! Did you guys see that? That tackle for loss was on him because he blew up the play so well. His get off on that was really well. He's getting double teamed there. Just shows you that
he went to Maryville High School for you.
Maryville, there you go, man. Go Patriots, or not? Patriots. Go Pirates. Sorry,
Pirates. Yeah. But here's a good hustle play. He's always hustling. He does, man. He's not the fastest guy, obviously, in space, but he's really a big, strong athlete. He really is.
Fell right on it. Instead of, the coaches always say secure the ball, but what do we want to do? The big uglies always want to pick it up and run, and
I don't know if anyone is noticing this, how elusive he is on the inside. Watch this. This is so elusive and great hand placement. Watch this. Well, look at that. Did you see that move? The quick hands. He's got really quick hands and an explosive first step. And guys, that's why me and Lester.
Go ahead.
Oh, hold on. Me and Lester were talking about the 40-yard dash with the offensive and defensive linemen, and I told him the 10-yard split is everything. And I guarantee you this guy's got a good 10-yard split.
Gotcha. And one thing too that stands out for me and really resonates is the fact that with what we already had last year, we were missing. This is what we were missing. We were missing interior. We were missing interior defensive line. We were missing interior offensive line. I'll leave Lester a little something on the bone here, but basically the whole thing about it is we had the outside, but the outside you couldn't tell because we had no inside. As soon as an average interior defensive lineman like Billings goes down, it was terrible. So we have to just double.
Wait. Average? Average? Do you think Billings is average?
Absolutely, 100%.
No, he's not average, bro. Billings is a little bit above average.
But hey, let's okay.
He is a serious run defender.
I'm not going to battle, semantics with
right,
you.
Right.
A little bit above because this is.
Did you see the run defense when Billings went down?
That's what I just said. Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely important. But here's my point. When I talk to guys, when I had them live on the air and talked to Tommy Harris and talked to a couple other defensive linemen, they said that whenever one guy went down, Henry Melton said another guy stood up, and that they would never allow to be ran on like that. Lester, what does that say to you about a guy like that? I mean, Dennis Allen, Ben Johnson, they're both saying that they want to have 8 defensive linemen and 9 offensive linemen. Could you see this guy go to us in the first round? I know the Niners said they want him at 11. But some of the draft guys out there are saying that he could fall to like in the late 30s. So what's your take on this, Lester?
You got to look at the depth of the position. The D tackle class is pretty good.
Yeah.
It seems like Mason Grant is probably the top guy taken, his Grant teammate in Michigan. But if Grant goes at 10, I mean, I think I'd be a pick that Bears fans get behind. Like Dave was saying, has that versatility. He can kind of play, either defensive tackle spot.
Right.
He has great lateral quickness, something that Dennis Allen will do. He will stun his guys quite a bit. Something we didn't see a lot with Flus during the last few years in Chicago, but with Dennis Allen, he'll stunt his guys. He'll want to have his guys run picks, and I think he's got the size, the strength, quickness, kind of help that out to kind of set those screens and those picks inside there. So another guy like separated Jared can kind of loop around and make the play.
Yeah. You
Good
know what?
points.
I like that. I love the fact that you can get in and out of positions and disguise. And that's what Dennis Allen likes to do. He likes to put the pressure with his front four. And that's why by committee, you got to keep those guys fresh and forever moving, because he likes to disguise his back seven. And if you can do that and give him what he wants with personnel, we are going to kill it, because in the last 7 years, he's had a top 10 defense. So why not give him what he wants? You guys already saw that in the first year when we had Eberflus. What did Ryan Poles go do? He went out and got Gordon. He went out and got freaking Brisker. And guess what? I love those guys. And Brisker was just on Instagram the other day saying, hey, listen, I'm coming back and I'm going to be better than ever. And I promise I'm going to dominate. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm excited for his freaking coming back. I was talking to Doug Point the other day about, should we be worried? Should we freaking, is his football career over? And he goes, Brandon, listen to me. How many times do you think that I actually got a concussion and I didn't know what the hell it was? How many times did they come and bring me smelling salt and I got my bell rung, or I came to, or there was a little black dot in my eye that I had to get rid of and I didn't know what the hell was going on? He goes, let's pump the brakes on this a little bit. I am happy that they are taking this seriously, but I think he'll be fine. If he says he's okay, the medical examiner and the professional says he's okay, he's good to go. He's not going to be wearing the Guardian helmet all year long like a freaking Max Pad, but he will be out there. He's going to play hard. He will change. I think he will change the way that he plays too. It's not going to be with the crown down as much. Does that mean that he's not going to play as aggressive? No, I think he's just going to play a little bit smart, but what do I know? I mean, I'm just a stooge, meatball fan, but that's what I think is going to happen. And I'm excited to see these guys, but listen, make no mistake about it. I think JJ, Brisker, all these guys, even Bayard, all these guys are going to cook out there because we're finally putting emphasis on the trenches, guys. So back to Lester's point, I love the fact, and to piggyback off of what Scarb says, I love the fact that this guy is versatile, man. And here's the deal. We were just talking the other day about Mason Graham, not taking anything away from Mason Graham, guys. But here's the deal. A lot has been taken away from freaking Grant, man. This guy is a beast, man. And like Scarb says, he's very light on his feet and elusive for his size.
Yeah. And Grant, to me, go ahead, Lester. I'm sorry.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Grant, to me, did get overshadowed, from Graham, because I think Graham got a lot of the accolades, but they were basically very similar. I think Grant is a little more athletic than Mason Graham is. Mason Graham's a little more stout and a little more of a war daddy kind of guy than Grant is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, going back to the Brisker thing a little bit, I think if he, if he says good to go and he says he's fine to go, I think that's something that the Bears need, because you guys talk about swagger.
Yeah.
Brisker brings the swagger.
Yeah.
When he left the field, when he was injured last year, that defense felt it. I know a lot is brought up about how the defense fell apart when Billings was out, but that's also about the same time Brisker went out. And Brisker, right. He's really good in run support. He was coming to his own in his coverage ability. I'm not sure Brisker, what his ceiling is, but I think he is a very capable safety. That's someone that the Bears missed. And, this is his contract year too. So, it behooves Brisker to get out there and kind of prove to not only the Bears, but the league that he's worthy of that second contract, because, that's what's upcoming for him.
Well, but do you rest everything on that? I know you don't go out and get his replacement because you got to see what he can do. But do you potentially back him up? Where are you at with that, Lester? Are you confident that we can go out and find enough? Now, I like this kid out of Maryland. I forget his name, but he also plays corner also. He's like 6'2", 200 pounds. I really like the film and the tape on him. I don't watch a lot of Maryland football. I watch more Maryland basketball, to be honest. But this dude, he checks some boxes for me. Where are you at on getting a guy in the back end, or do you want to get a guy a little bit early? Like I'm going to tickle your ivories over here, Papa Scarbs, that safety out of Notre Dame. You go that early, or
Xavier Watts. You're talking about
Watts. Oh my gosh,
Xavier Watts, to me, will be there probably in 39 or 41.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to go in the first round.
Yeah.
But yes, Xavier Watts is more of a
Not to say
Xavier Watts is more. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, these are all what you see, each thing is different in the eyes of someone else.
Right.
But Xavier Watts, main strength to me is he's more of a free safety. He can play box a little bit, but he was at his best at Notre Dame. As you know, I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, but he was at his best in Notre Dame when they let him freelance and be like the over the top, hawk safety.
Gotcha.
He can play in the box, but that's not his forte, I don't believe. I think that he is a center fielder type free safety or coverage, drop into a coverage zone. His strength is coverage more than being like a run supporter or being an overly physical guy. And he picked off Caleb Williams when they played USC.
Like for me, I think if you look at safety, I think safety is a definite need for the team.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they attack one that early. To me, I mean, the strength of this draft is in the trenches. So to me, I want to see him come out of the first 3 picks with 2 guys in the trenches.
Yes.
I'd love to see him get a running back in the second round. As far as safety goes, because you look at the current roster, every safety signed this is their last year on their deal. So next year, you're either gonna have to re-sign Brisker, re-sign Bayard. Hicks is gone. Jonathan Owens is gone. Tavarius Moore is just a 1-year deal. He's more of a practice squad guy anyway. So you have no safeties under contract. So I think you have to get a guy in the pipeline. And I'm not saying that a guy you draft, on day 3 is going to be a starter in 2026. But you got to get a guy out there.
You got to get some depth pieces.
Work with him. Yeah, get some depth, see how it works. And then maybe next year in free agency or even higher in the draft next year, you target a safety. But you got to get a guy in there. Plus, like I said, with Brisker, the concussion's one thing, but he's also had some other issues during his career where he can't stay on the field. So have some depth.
He's got to be healthy.
Some quality. Kevin Bayard is 31 years old. He's in his last year of his deal. Have another guy in there that you can kind of plug in if you need be. I'm not a big Elijah Hicks guy. I think he's okay.
Yeah, me too.
He's a guy. He's a guy. He's a guy.
Jonathan Owens is fine. I mean, but with Dennis Allen, much like Flus, he wants to have his safeties interchangeable. He wants to be able to disguise things by not tipping his hand, which is the guy that's coming up.
Right.
So Jonathan Owens, to me, he's not really much in coverage. So you got to get a guy in there in the pipeline and, getting a guy on early day 3 or maybe even a trade back situation where you pick up some more picks. I think that's definitely something the Bears have to do.
I really like next year also. I mean, you look at all those guys, 6'2", 6'3", they're freaking studs. They're tall. They got strength. I mean, next year's draft class for safeties and also offensive line on the outside. You got top middle 90s, man, freaking ridiculous tackles, man. So I believe everything is on the inside this year and next year is the outside. So, but I'm we're going to get roll right into the offensive line. Here's something that concerns me.
Real quick.
Go ahead, man.
I think they should really take an edge at 10 because it's not as deep. You can get everything else a little later. I think edge, you take that one early or you trade back and do what you're going to do. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. And
Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
I agree with you. One thing that I do like though is Dio, his pro comp. Landon Jackson's pro comp is actually Dio. Dennis Allen freaking loves this guy. When you look at him, he lines up at the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Don't know why he can't get 1 taken care of, but maybe he could take care of that also. But this guy, when you watch the film, he is freaking nasty. You put him in there with Dennis Allen, watch him cook, guys. He's only 24 years old. Let's see what happens.
25. Man. He's 25.
Okay, sorry. But anyways, yeah.
I'm not as big a fan as you, but I'm just saying.
I'm not a big fan. I listen. I understand why he went out and got him, and
yes, absolutely. I'm
gonna go ahead and look at a guy who, for the last 6-7 years in the top 10, dominated, the NFL in defense. He looks at these guys. And I love the fact that Ryan Poles is giving them exactly what they need. He's given Ben Johnson his offensive line. He's given Dennis Allen his defensive line. Dan Rushar, I talked to Jim Miller at length about this guy. This guy is freaking amazing. He's a good
Rochar is
offensive
an
line coach.
amazing offensive line coach.
And,
Amazing.
And the fact of it is I haven't seen in the last decade Olin Kreutz get excited about an offensive line coach for the Chicago Bears.
Right.
He ran to XApp to tell everybody how excited he is about
Didn't
this.
Did he coach Olin in New Orleans? Did their paths cross? I'm not sure if they
Yeah,
did
he
or
was
not,
over.
but
He was over there. He also was a tight ends coach. He was a head coach. He was assistant
yeah.
offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
This guy has done everything. And make no mistake about it, I do like the fact that Eric Bieniemy is in the building, and here's the deal. Yeah. Okay, so I really wanted to go out and grab their guard, but honestly, we had a lot of holes to fill, and I like how he filled them by force multiplying and grabbing multiple positions. I think that if you go out and go get a guard, then now all of a sudden with that type of money, you kind of cripple yourself. We got a lot of holes. I like how they did it. And make no mistake about it, that guy that's a perennial Pro Bowler, multi-Super Bowl champion, he gave all the credit to Eric Bieniemy and his tough love and his defense, attention to detail. But wait. He's a running backs coach. But yet he still pays attention to his freak. And guess what else? Guess another guy in the building that got excited about Eric Bieniemy's coaching hire. Can you guess who that? Patrick Mahomes. And he's a quarterback. So these guys are going to be all hands on deck, taking a look at everybody. There's not going to be Caleb Williams anymore in the freaking film room doing puppets, like finger puppets and, shadow puppets and all this stuff, and be like, oh, over here, well, what should we do? Like, that's ridiculous, man. You got to have somebody in there. Listen, when I played offensive line, my freaking guy would come over here. My coach would come over. If I was up too high on my left side, he would push down right here, and I automatically knew what that was. If you stick in those bad habits, especially in the third or fourth quarter when you're starting to wear out, guess what? They're going to get worse. You don't have anybody in the building doing that. I'm excited about all of our coaches, man, but getting into the offensive line, this is important, man. We need to wreck some habit on the offense, man. We need a guy like that. So let's get into the offensive line, guys. Let's talk about a guy that I would like to go grab in Will Campbell. They're talking about the tape. They're talking about the size of his arms and how they were like baby alligator arms. And now all of a sudden they grew overnight and all this crazy stuff. He got out there and he says, hey, listen, I've had the same size arms my whole entire life. And he's dominated guys. We're going to watch some films. So you guys can go check it out. But, here's the deal. When we're flipping it over to the offensive side of the ball, let's be honest. If the Bears don't keep Caleb upright, all of this is meaningless. That's why Will Campbell from LSU is such a crucial pick, man. Why Will Campbell is a day one starter, man. Let's talk about the fact of his pass blocking protection. This guy is freaking ridiculous. He allowed just one sack in 2 full seasons at LSU, man. His run blocking is absolute beastly. 85.3 PFF grade, just destroys defenders in the run game. Massive frame, 6'6", 325 pounds. Ideal left tackle size. Durability and toughness. The guy squats 600 pounds, guys. He's played every snap in 7 of 8 SEC games last year, guys. He's NFL ready. He ran a 5.02 40-yard dash. That's scary good for an offensive lineman. So before we roll the tape on this, guys, is there anything you guys would like to break down? Let's start off with you,
yes,
because I know you got to leave.
Oh, good.
No, I just think he's, like you said, the arm length is the big key. Everyone's talking about it. It came out that the person who was doing the combine measurements was actually making a mistake pretty much on all of the measurements.
Wow.
So all the measurements were different than what they had at the other things they had, and also at the pro days. So, he checked in 33 at the L2 pro day, which is still a little short for offensive line.
Yeah.
But look, he has tackle feet. He has tackle, size. He's big, and he has quick hands. And the one thing you want with a tackle is got to be quick enough hands to kind of get out there, because, it's all about hand fighting at that place. So is his hands quick enough? Can he get up there and can he knock down those those long arms, because that's why you want long arms as an O tackle, is because it's such a prevalent move from the defensive end is that long arm mover that kind of gets you and kind of keep you at bay. So is Campbell quick enough to kind of diffuse that? I think he is. Look, if I'm drafting him, I'm letting him stay at tackle. I'm going to let him stay at left tackle until he can't. If he can't, then now I'm going to kick him in the left guard. But to me, I watch him and I see a left tackle.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to use a Lesterism here. I'm going to use a Lesterism. Dude, you just watch this guy's tape and you're like, can he block people? Yes, he can block people. And all the measurements and all this other stuff is nice, but ultimately it comes down to, can you block someone? And this guy, as he proved at LSU for the time he was there, this guy was a machine. They had I watched a clip of 17 pass rushes he did against one of the Texas A&M guys, the athletic Texas A&M guy.
Shamar Stewart, right?
Yes. He lost none of them. Like it wasn't even close. Shamar Stewart maybe pushed him back and that was it. And they dinged him for a pressure. I'm like, where? It was not a pressure. The quarterback had to step up or whatever. But you watch this guy on tape, and I was I don't know. I wasn't all on board with Campbell. I'm on board with him now after watching his film. I think the arm length thing is Shamil Shamazel. It doesn't matter, because I think that guy, you just watch him block all these athletic freaks in the SEC every week. I don't know, man. I don't see many flaws in his game, to tell you the truth. And I'm with Lester. If you take this guy, you leave him at tackle unless he can't play there. And I guarantee you, he's been doing it. That kid can play there. Anyway, just wanted to say that. But I love my Lesterism. Can he block people? That's the most important thing. Watch the film, he can block people.
And I tell you what else too that I like about him is, like you said, about the tape, and it doesn't matter. It's what you do with it. Can he block? Can he block? There's another guy that can block pretty well with the Detroit Lions at left tackle by the name of Taylor Decker. Can you imagine what his size is? 33 5/16.
And this kid is a better prospect than Decker was coming out of college.
That's the length of his arm. So there's other guys out there also. I had Adam Mason on, and this dude was breaking it down, pulling all the stats and everything up on this beautiful graph that he had brought out. And I'll tell you what, there's some offensive linemen that can get it done with arms that aren't. Listen, there's a lot of guys with long arms that can't get it done. There's a lot of guys with long arms that can't get it done. You got to work both sides. You can't just work one side and fit it towards an area.
Brandon, can I say it like this?
Please.
If you have the measurables, and the prospects are equal, you go with the guy with the measurables. But if the guy with the little less measurables is a better football player, you go with the better football player.
Gotcha.
So tape tells you.
Like years ago, the threshold was 34 inches. That's what a lot of the old school scouts talk about. 34-inch tackles have to have 34-inch arms.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, we're starting to see guys that are under 34 thrive. Darnell Wright with the Bears, he's under 34. Penei Sewell with the Lions, he's under 34. Rashawn Slater, Chargers, under 34. Plenty of guys are doing it. Yeah, can he block? So, years ago, probably Will Campbell's immediately going to look at as a guard, just because that's how the threshold was, way back then. But I think these days, teams are starting to think like, hey, look, the tape says this.
Yeah.
Let's let him do that until he can't. And I think that's what we're going to see with Will Campbell. Look, if he's there at 10 for the Bears, I think it's a no-brainer. I think that's
slam dunk. Slam dunk.
And look, and I am a fan of Braxton Jones. I think he's fine for what he is.
Right.
But what he is last year of his contract. What he is going to have to be paid next year. We just saw some ridiculous money being handed out to people that are worse than Braxton Jones.
Yep.
So
and a long arm guy who may not be able to block.
If you're comfortable paying Braxton Jones $20 million a year, which is going to be the going rate next year, fine. But I think at this point, if you can get a better prospect, kind of plug him in, see what happens, I think you're good to go.
And a lot of people are arguing the fact that, what are we going to draft a guy that's going to be sitting the bench? Because potentially, Braxton Jones. They still want to see what he can do. Listen to this. Listen to this closely if you have a moment, Papa Scarbs, to listen to this.
Okay.
A lot of guys out there are totally about sitting the rookie quarterback that's going to be in the franchise and learning from the veteran. Why can't we do that with the insurance policy that's going to protect the quarterback that's going to be the future and the face of the franchise, that's going to be the most expensive listen, when you go get a house, when you go get a nice vehicle, what's the first thing you do? You go get insurance to protect you from mayhem. You don't complain and cry about how expensive it is. You go out and you do whatever it takes in order for that to happen. There's no problem with doubling down at left tackle to protect Caleb's blind side. We've already been cheap long enough on Justin Fields' watch and also now Caleb's watch after 68 sacks. It's time to go do whatever it takes by any means necessary. I don't have a problem with this at all.
Can I answer your question?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. The reason that you don't take someone who sits on the bench is where you're drafting. If you're drafting a top 10 pick or a top 10 player, if you're drafting in the top 10, it says it on all the boards and everything, you have to get a starter there. You understand? So I'm saying if they draft Campbell there, I think, and I'm pretty sure Lester agrees with me on this, if they draft Campbell, Campbell's going to be your left tackle. And then you're going to make your swing tackle number 70. You make him be the swing tackle, and then you see where he's at. And if he can come back on a cheaper deal, you get him. If somebody wants to pay him a lot of money, you let him go. But you solidify that left tackle position. You do not use the number 10 pick in the NFL draft to have some kid that's going to come sit on the bench.
Well,
that's just my opinion.
Well, that is your opinion, and we do respect it. But at the same point in time, you already got Karama Magaji in the building, and the fact remains is you got to see what's going on with him. You got to see what's going on with Braxton Jones. But at the same point in time, Ben Johnson wants 9 guys on his watch at the offensive line. So make no mistake about it. You're not going to be sitting on the bench for that long. And if somebody goes down, now what are you going to say? Oh, well, you know what? Here's the deal. This guy gets injured right away. This guy isn't even back yet. He came out and said that he's ahead of schedule and he's doing better. Yeah. But make no mistake.
You don't take number 10 and have him sit on the bench, bro. That's just my point. You're not taking number 10 and sitting him on the bench.
At the same point in time, though, it's okay to do either or because you got 2 rookies on the day.
No, it's not. You're wasting your position if you're not going to. And like I said, we're just debating. I'm just telling you how I believe NFL teams think. You're not taking a top 10 pick and sitting him on the bench. You're not doing it.
Dumb. Those NFL teams are dumb, and I'll say it to their face.
It's not dumb. It makes a lot of sense
because that's why we have
you need someone who's coming in.
QBs. Go look around at the whole entire NFL. They start guys out like Daniel Jones and all these other quarterbacks.
Oh man, this is such a long thing to unpack. I won't get into it with you. Yeah, we got to have this conversation before.
Yeah, well, we will. Then that's why I'm baiting you, so you'll come back, okay, pal? But
always, man. I like, dude. Even though we disagree sometimes, Brandon, I enjoy talking to you about football, man. You're
absolutely, and I'll let you have the mic when it's time, always. But at the end of the day, the fact remains is there's so many quarterbacks that are out there that aren't even ready to start, but they have to because of the money, because it's right, because it's the right thing to do. When it's not the right thing to do, because if you really listen to the guys that know football, they're saying that you're watering down the talent. You go look at the first 7 weeks of the NFL. It is absolutely trash what half of the teams are doing because all these rookie quarterbacks are going out there because it's astronomical, 40, 50 mil contracts. They got to hurry up. They got to win. They've got to get their money in because pretty soon they're going to have that threshold of so much money. And that's why people are excited right now because Caleb has that rookie contract. So let's go ahead and build underneath his watch and all this and that and whatever. But at the end of the day, the smart thing is to bench a guy. And if you have conviction that you want to go out and get a guy, let him learn from a veteran. Don't have him go out there with bad.
Can I ask you a question, Brandon?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish what you're saying. But can I ask you a question when you get done?
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. How many college programs do you think are running NFL offenses?
The right way or the wrong way?
No, I'm just talking about any college football team running a pro style offense, not a spread, not an air raid, not a option, whatever. How
what's
many
the number?
college teams?
What's the number?
It's less to me. It's less than 5.
Well, not to you. What's the actual number? Because you asked me for the number.
I don't know. I don't know. I cannot. I don't want to speak on that, but I
Okay.
know it's not a lot. It's
Right,
definitely
well-
not a lot. And guess what? None of the closest you have is Texas with Steve Sarkisian, and he doesn't even run a real NFL offense. It's just that's why Arch Manning is there, because the Mannings know he runs a system that's most similar to being in an NFL system. So you got a point what you're saying. The guys are not ready to come in because they have not been in an NFL system. So I will give you that, and I'll pass that with you. But it's because we are not producing NFL quarterbacks like before in like the 80s and the 70s. A lot of offenses in college were trying to be like the NFL. Now the NFL is trying to change their culture and be more like college offenses to
I don't
adapt
believe
to
that.
these kids.
I don't believe
Okay.
that. Because
I'm just telling you.
faster,
that-
guys
okay.
are faster and stronger, and that's why they
I
are.
said my piece, so you
Yeah.
go on.
You know, real quick, going back to the Will Campbell thing. Let's say the Bears do take him at 10 overall.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be competing to start a left tackle. He may not win that job over Braxton Jones as a rookie.
Right.
But look, that's not mean he's going to be on the bench, because what does Ben Johnson like to do? He ran more 6-OL than any coach last
That's a
year.
great
Right.
point. That's a great point.
Will Campbell will get on the field.
Right.
He'll make sure he's out there doing what he has to do. We may see Will Campbell lined up in the slot and coming in motion and kicking somebody out, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you draft a guy at 10 overall, you're not going to play
No.
him. And then at some point, he may get the NFL game down. He may understand the scheme a little better, and he may take Braxton Jones' job at some point in the season. But like I said, getting a guy like Campbell at 10 overall, he's there. He may not start day one,
Right.
but
I'll
he is
take
going to
him.
be eventually
I
a
agree.
long-term guy
Yeah,
starting there.
I think we're all in agreement that you take that dude there. And now how they use him or whatever, we can debate about that. But I think we all agree if that dude's there at 10, we're taking him.
And I guarantee you that the coaches that are going to be coaching Will Campbell are a lot better than the ones at LSU for the NFL, not for college. Keep those guys in college. Let them do what they're doing. Keep the players in the NFL. Let them do what they're doing. But at the end of the day, we're just drafting potential. We're not drafting NFL players. So we got to see what they can do before we give them the silent cross and make them day one starters. So there's a whole lot to do there, and I think it's important.
I'm a play early guy, and I know you're not, so it's okay. We can agree to disagree on that.
Right. So with that being said, I think he's got to go now. You got to go now, right, Lester?
Yeah, I got a thing at 5. I got to make sure I get everything prepped and ready for it.
All right,
but, hey, man, I appreciate it, Brandon. Always good talking to you.
Yeah, you too, brother.
Big L, we'll chat. I'm sure we do it quite often.
I'm sure we'll talk. I'm sure I'll get a text later tonight from you.
Yeah.
Breaking down the breakdown.
Swearing about Brandon. No, I'm joking. I'm
All right, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, man.
Love you, Lester. Thanks, man. Bye.
Anytime, buddy.
All right. Oh man, he used to say that all the time, and I'd bring him on all the time. I'd have his phone on freaking standby. I had him on in the early 3 years. I'd have him on Chicago sports like all the dang time, man.
He is my main. You know how everyone has that buddy they text about bear stuff?
Yeah.
Or your football. That is my main text guy. I think we text each other like 3-4 times a week talking about just football and philosophy and everything. And you know, Brandon, me and Lester coached together for like 3 years. So yeah.
Right.
Very, very, very smart football guy.
Yeah.
I've known him since high school. He has not changed at all.
Right. Man, I tell you what, there's so much to unpack on Will Campbell, man. I'm excited about this. So let's roll.
Brandon,
What's up? What up?
One of the reasons I enjoy talking to you is because we can have good debate about different things, and you can discuss your side. I can discuss my side. I think that's more interesting than all of us sitting here nodding our head like seals in saying that.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love your conviction too, man. It's good stuff. So let's get into this video. Let's see what we got.
Okay.
And, all right. Let's
You want me to comment on it or just be quiet? What do you want?
do what you did the first time. It was great. Let's do it. Let's comment on it. Let's see what you see.
Uh-oh, you got me large. There you go. So look at the athleticism in space and the hand placement. The moving of the feet. Look at this coming off. That was actually a little hold there, but ain't nothing wrong with that. See the foot placement? See how he positions his body on rundowns?
Yep.
You see how he rides? Yeah, he rides and uses his athleticism. Watch this. Watch his blocking space.
Yep.
Get his hands on the guy. What concerns me a little with him blocking in space is he does let his hands get a little wide, like there, and that'll be a hold call in the NFL. You got to keep your hands inside better. On his technique, he'll work on these things, but to me, his biggest weakness, he's a great dude. Like I said, I love this film, but if I were critiquing him on the one thing, he really needs to get better with his hand placement because his arms aren't super long. He's going to have to use his hand placement a lot better. Look at that. Nice kick down. Get on the guy. He's just a very impressive athlete with his feet. Look at that skip pull.
He keeps
skip
going.
Pull, moves the pile.
Right 3 blocks.
Yeah, he skip pulled and moved. Yeah. So see where the hand plays. See when his inside, when his hands are inside and in a good spot, he's a lockdown guy.
Yep.
See that? You see his hands inside?
He's beating everybody. Look at all these guys he beats, man.
That's what I'm telling you. Dude, you have not seen him lose a rep, not one time on here.
And there's some big time
I think he missed
going up against that are actually in the draft, man. There's guys that we are coveting and looking at that we want at edge, that other NFL teams are looking at edge, and he's
look at it. Look at it. Look at how he keeps the guy square on his body. Bro. This is great.
Beautiful.
Look at this. Punch, square, drive. Oh man, it's so good. This is elite offensive lineman. I don't give a damn how long his arms are.
I had
this
like
is elite
17
offensive
minutes
lineman.
of video. I had to cut back to like 4 because I went all in on Grant. That's how excited I was.
Because look at that double team. Look at the movement off the double team. Look at that. He's still blocking the guy down 15 yards downfield.
Yeah.
Look at that. Edge rusher just gets stonewalled. Look at this. Handles a power rush. How many times have we seen Braxton Jones get driven into the quarterback off of a power rush?
Facts.
He really anchors well.
Yep.
He really anchors, and look at that, how he sifted through the double team. That was just amazing. Absolutely. Look at the hands. See the hands inside? All his power is inside. Block the guy 10 yards downfield when his hands were right. Hands were right. Stoned.
Yep.
Hands and feet work together. Look at that. Look at that pass off. How many times did we watch the Bears last year have a pass off that was not good?
Yeah.
Look at these reps, man. This guy is just stoning this guy. Nothing. That is a 0. You had nothing. You get a 0. You get a minus grade as a defensive lineman on that.
Minus grade.
That's serious. Yeah, you did nothing.
No, you know what? You are not. If you are doing a highlight reel for you as an end, or even that, outside.
You don't want to put on your tape with versus him.
No LSU at all. Keep it out of there.
None. And I'm telling you, what's the other guy, the athletic guy from Texas A&M everyone's talking about?
Yeah, Kelvin.
The Shamar guy, whatever.
Oh, yeah, Shamar.
Dude, I'm telling you, the 17 reps go look it up on YouTube. The 17 reps I saw, that dude couldn't even sniff the quarterback.
Can you see those numbers
all
right
17?
There?
Yes, I can.
Okay, those numbers are brought up by Adam Mason. Shout out to Adam Mason. I do not own the rights to this. He created this. This is not me. Something that Tracks cannot do.
Right.
He's even got a special number right here. I think it's called the SHH, and I forgot what he called that, but it was.
Well, you got the defensive lineman up right now.
Yeah, no, I brought this up for a reason. Because some of these guys are.
I see it. SHH. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Look at down here, Shamar Turner. There's your guy you were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
Shamar Turner, the burner. there's some of those numbers that he was up against, bro, and he freaking stonewalled a guy that's 6'4".
Look at those. I say, look at those, man. Look at those. He's got three reds, and they're like 44.8, 35.6. I don't know what is good or bad on here because I don't understand the graph, but it stands out what you're saying. There's not. I'm assuming the higher the number is, maybe is good, you know.
Yeah.
But the lower the number is bad.
But look at Kenneth Grant too. Circling back to what we had earlier, 6'3", 339. Look at his defense, his run defense, his tackling. It's all up there. They're all upper numbers, man.
You know, it's funny. He's heavier. He's heavier than Graham, but people think that Graham is more stout than he is, and I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't. That's not what I would say.
What would you say? What would you say?
I would say that I think Grant is the more solid run defender than Graham. I think Graham is a crafty guy, but the guy who has the traits is Grant.
Yeah. Oh man,
and
he's
the traits guy.
Here's the thing too that doesn't jump out on you because some numbers are just numbers. Liars figure and figures lie. And a lot of times you look at numbers and they lie. And the fact remains is if I'm going to go, let's break this down to something everybody can understand. Let's break it down to basketball. If I'm a guy like Derrick Rose and I'm driving into the paint, where am I going to go? Where am I going to attack? Am I going to go right into a guy, like Tim Duncan? Or am I going to try to go around him? I'm going to go to a smaller guy with a smaller frame. I'm going to go up to Mason Graham all the time because automatically my eye looks at Kenneth Grant and says, I'm not going in that direction. I'm going to Mason Graham.
That dude's a monster. Yeah, that dude's a monster.
Numbers are slanted because they're going to Mason Graham. They're not going to go to Kenneth Grant. So the fact that they were together on the same team at the same time is redonkulous. It's crazy, man.
It's just Grant looks way more explosive to me on tape than
I agree.
Graham.
Yeah. And at the same point,
and I don't think they should take him at 10, but I would not be disappointed if they take him at 10. I think you got to go edge there.
Here's a good point that I had earlier. I was actually trying to make a point and somebody argued it against me because the Niners, they lost two very key defensive tackles. They're very high on Grant, taking him at 11. I says, well, why
they might trade up?
Why don't we trade back? And because this is what they said. If you're going to go get a defensive tackle, don't get the second best defensive tackle. Go get the guy that you want. Go get the alpha male. Go get the best defensive tackle that is available at that point in the draft. Don't trade back just so you can get a guy in the 4th round because that's what you're going to get. When you trade from 10 to 11, that's all you're going to get. You're going to get a 4th round. Big deal. Is that going to freaking move the needle, or is getting a guy like freaking Kenneth Grant going to move the needle, man? Is he going to make a guy in Stewart or in Sweat job easier? Booker, all these guys that we have at edge, is he going to allow him to cook? And that's the thing that we got to look at. Are we going to be able to bring a guy in that's going to be able to do that? Of course, it's deep, and you can get guys later on in the draft, but those are the seconds and the thirds and the fourths. Like this guy is a freaking day one starter. This guy's an alpha.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of
he's a war daddy. He's a war daddy.
Outside of getting Mason Graham, this is the guy that I go get. If I'm really conviction and I'm an NFL coach and I have to get a defensive tackle, this is the guy that I go get. Not saying that I know anything. I always say on this freaking show, I don't.
Brandon, you can have an opinion. It's okay.
I don't know diddly squat. I'm nothing special. I'm just a super fan. I'm just a meatball. This is my take, but this is what I would do if I'm saying I have to have a defensive tackle. I'm going to go get this freaking hog. But I'm also can say if I want to go protect Caleb and have a decade of dominance, I'm going to go out and go get Will Campbell if that's my guy that checks all the damn boxes. Hey
man, you know this, Brandon. They're going to take whoever the scouts and the coaches feel. We're not in those rooms. We don't know what the priority is on their board, so it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Shout out to
We all are. Who?
Shout out to Bearlismo, man. All the way across the pond, man, in Europe. Bearlismo says, give me Omar Norman Lott with our first pick in the second round of the NFL draft. That guy's got conviction on it. That might be somebody that we need to unpack later on. I don't know.
I think running back, if they don't take Genty, which I'm hoping they don't, because I don't think there's much fall off between him and the two Ohio State backs and the kid from North Carolina. And I know this isn't a show about him. I'm just saying I think they're going running back at 39 or 41. It would be really sad to draft a running back at 10.
Bearlismo, this is not a Danimal jersey. This is a Mongo jersey, but
Ming the Merciless.
And look, dude, it's a Hall of Fame.
Oh, he's got the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Mongo Hall of Fame. Got my Bear Walter Payton shirt. Walter Payton shirt, Hall of Fame shirt.
I picked this up in Canton when I was there covering, and there for Mongo, he actually invited me, him and Misty, as far as friends and family goes. So I got to get the up close and personal. And the DJ I brought out there to, he got paid obviously, but he did a terrific job. He actually does special jerseys. And he had this one specially made for me, and he presented it to me at Mongo's Hall of Fame party, and it was fantastic. I was like so excited when I got it. At the time, it didn't fit me. Now it does. So I'm excited to wear it.
Good job, Brandon.
And I had to wear it because I had Papa Scarbs in the building, and I had my favorite Lester Wilfong together. It's been a long time, man. We're some real OGs from this show from way back when, man. Scarbs would come in with his freaking whiteboard and draw the X's and O's. He got busy.
Right? The archaic days.
You were doing the RV trip to the West Coast, down in Texas, all this stuff. So here's the deal. It's still on the table whenever you're ready. You've always got a home. We would love some X's and O's and love to hear from you. And
let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Hopefully I got a laptop now, so maybe I could mock up some stuff when I get my program up and running.
Yeah.
But Brandon, you're always a class dude, and you know what I feel a little bad about. We've never, me and Steve McMichael, I've never met him face to face.
Yeah.
But I coached with one of his really good teammates that was close to Dan Hampton. My mentor is Glenn Kozlowski, who played for the Bears. He was a very, 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 him and Ming were very close.
That's awesome.
And he used to tell me some amazing stories about him. I wish everyone would know the man that Steve McMichael was, because he was such a good guy. And I know I make you jealous because I have my personally autographed picture of Steve.
Let's see it, bro. Pull it up. For
I can't pull it off my wall. And I don't want to go like the whole. But I showed you before we started filming, and so it was like, it was like.
That's right. If you had your phone, you could walk over to it, but you don't. So you gotta.
Right. Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
But maybe one day I'll pull it off the wall and I'll just show it to you.
Or take a picture. Take a picture.
Yeah.
Send it to me, and then I'll put it up on.
Okay. But it says to Dave from Ming, number 76. It's great autograph, and I'm always grateful to one of the unique things I think that are about the Chicago Bears is they're so much close to the community that they live amongst us, and that's the honest to God truth. They are part of the community, and when you play for Chicago and you're a really good player, even if you're like a median player, like look at Jim Miller. Jim Miller is Jim Miller is beloved in Chicago. You know what I mean? And he, to me, since Jim McMahon, he was probably the second best quarterback we ever had, in my opinion.
I love that. I will pass that along because, as you know, he's my forever co-host up at the casino now, over closer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're
doing Lester. Hey, ask Lester, because Lester always jokes around with me about he goes, oh, the love for Jim Miller. And I'm like Jim Miller. He always tells when he's talking about Jim Miller and you guys, he's like, Jim Miller's your guy. He goes, your guy, Jim Miller. And I'm like, crap, man. I'm like, Jim Miller was my dude, man.
Gary, in order to answer your question, I'm no longer in my garage. I'm back in my house because in the wintertime, the family spends more time in the house, and I'm not so much of a Roman Catholic type. I'm more of a Pentecostal when I talk my bears, and I didn't want to rattle the walls.
Pentecostal, spread the gospel.
Yeah. I didn't
Spread
want
that gospel, baby.
I wanted my family to sleep. I wanted them to have, so I'd rather do that, take the L and bundle up a little bit. I mean, this is Chicago, for crying out loud. If we're
It's a
asking,
nice day though today. It's nice
Yeah.
today.
No, but I'm in the building now. It's all good. But thanks for asking, man. I appreciate it. Bearlismo says, this is what I like about our show, man. We give it back to the fans. We give it back to the community. Well, this show is created from a fan for fans. You're not going to get this at the 4-letter networks of ESPN, CHSN, or 3-letter networks of ABC, NBC, or CBS. You're going to get this at Chicago Sports Podcast, where we let your voice be heard because you deserve it just like we do. We're all fans, man. Bearlismo says, actually, not Will Campbell. I want the Texas tackle, Kelvin Banks Jr. He basically Darnell Wright, but on the left. So
that dude is not as good as an athlete as Will Campbell.
But we do appreciate his take, man. And
yes, absolutely. His opinion.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely, for sure. And I love that guy on the show, man. He's got that really cool, like, British accent. Very intelligent too, man. He breaks stuff down. He's really cool. Bearlismo, man, I tell you what, I can't wait to have you on. I bug him all the time, just like I did to you, Scarbs. This dude is, I love it when he's on. I love when all you guys are on.
You should have had a show with him when we went to England, man. What are you thinking, Brandon?
Dude, everybody wanted to go with him, for crying out loud.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, you should have invited him on when we went to England, man. We're gonna have the English, see what our British fans were saying. Dude, he's plugged in with them, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, he's plugged in with everybody. He's a good dude, man. So listen, at the end of the day, when we broke down the Will Campbell highlights, this guy is an absolute wall left tackle. The Bears
can block.
We have not had an elite offensive lineman since when? Olin Kreutz prime? That has to change, guys.
No, I would say the kid that got hurt, Howie Long's son. Well, he was a decent football player. He was really good. Yeah, he was very good. Kyle's problem was the same as a lot of players, as his body just gave out on him.
So, and to break this down even further, Scarbs, you've coached all types of walks of life, man, all these guys. Let's talk a little bit about the offensive line, which you know about. What exactly do you see in Will Campbell when you talk about the motor, when you talk about the drive, when you talk about a coach? Does he check all those boxes about playing through the whistle and all that type of stuff, or is there something?
Oh, you saw.
He's got to work with his hands. That was a check, a red check next to his name that he needs to work.
That'll get fixed, though. It'll get fixed.
Can you work with a guy like that?
Yeah. Of course you can. And that's why I'm saying he has traits that you cannot teach. Yeah. Like understanding offensive line, to me, breaks down to probably 3 things. Breaks down to your hand placement, your feet, how athletic you are, and the angles that you learn to block. Your technique, your feet, and your I'm sorry, getting tongue tied. Your hands, your feet, and your technique, and that's all it breaks down to.
Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing before all that?
Sure.
And same thing that I would like to say with running backs, and where I think Swift is actually misread the wrong way. And I've got some highlights I'm going to pull up for him tomorrow. I'm going to bring in a guy that absolutely loves a guy. I think he's from Arizona State. He's kind of got
Scatterbo.
He's kind of got like that Mike Allstott feel, but I'm going to actually break down some.
Everyone makes that comp to him. Hold on. Everyone makes that comp to him. He's not as big as Mike Allstott.
I have a point. So my point is that the thing that you need as far as a running back and an offensive lineman, I believe, is the same, and that's vision. You got to have vision.
Yes.
If you don't have vision, if you don't know where to block, where to put your hands,
Well,
and expect and look ahead of what's about to happen. That's important. You've got to read and react, yes, but you
Right.
have to look ahead and see where that's going to go, you know?
Right. It's more, the vision is more important for a running back. You're right. And I
Yeah.
think that's a very underrated track. With offensive line, it's more like understanding your angle, which is
Yeah.
probably similar to what you're saying, is understanding what angle to take. It's a lot like in wrestling, is understanding body position of where you want to place your hands. How do I want to set my feet to have this guy between me and the ball carrier, or me and the quarterback? But I was going to say, on the Cam Scatterboo thing, everyone, a lot of, not just you, a lot of people compare him to Mike Allstott, which to me is not a good comparison because the size difference. Mike Allstott was 240 pounds. Scatterboo, I think, is like 210 pounds, 215 pounds or something like that. Maybe 220. You know what I mean? But he's an aggressive runner, and maybe that is why that people make that. But Mike Allstott was 6'1", 240, whatever. You know what I mean? So, but he is got the same similar skill. They look similar, but Mike Allstott was like a man child, man. He was huge.
So I
He was
think
240. He was 240 in the 90s.
I think the Scatterbo plays like Will Campbell's arms. He plays bigger than they are.
Yeah. He's a very hard runner.
Yeah.
So you want me to tell you who I prefer? That I hope they get. This is my number one running back in this class.
What's that?
To me, is Travion Henderson from Ohio State.
Okay.
Now, for me,
I've seen that a couple of times.
That dude,
online.
Yeah, that dude's a dude. Like, to me, he wasn't in a system where they featured him or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, if he was in an old school system like a West Coast offense, he's a West Coast offense back, 100%. Can catch. He does all the little things. He's explosive. Just my opinion. I like him better than Genty, and I like him better than Judkins. But, I don't think any of those guys should be first rounders. I think they're second, third round guys. But Genty's going to get overdrafted because of the hype, and that's fine.
Guys, shout out really quick to everybody in the chat. Jay Grizz, Foster Covers. Appreciate you guys for showing up and showing out. You guys are freaking awesome. Gary OZ, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Justin Jones, my co-host. Crooked the Commish. Ricky Mosby, Cheryl Childers. You guys are awesome. Thank you for showing up and showing out. As always, I would pick you guys over all 32 NFL team fans. You guys are the smartest in the building. You make my job easy. When I draw a blank, you guys got the number. I don't have to phone a friend. It's already in the chat, man. I appreciate you guys. But Coach, you're right. That's exactly what Bears fans need to hear, man. This guy and Will Campbell, he's just good.
He can block.
He's a potential all-pro. If the Bears pass on him, it better be because they're taking Kenneth Grant, in my opinion. The final
I guarantee you, if Will Campbell's sitting there, they are taking him. I guarantee you.
The final verdict is the Bears must go trenches in round one. That's what we can all touch and agree on.
We can agree on, yes.
Wrapping up this high-energy show, guys, Bears fans, we've laid it all out for you. You want to build a team that can win in the North. Okay, make the playoffs and go toe-to-toe with the best in the NFL. You do it by winning in the trenches. Is that yes or no? Leave it in the comments below. It's Kenneth Grant or Will Campbell for me all day. Either one of these guys immediately makes this team, our team, better, and they are forever franchise changers, man. But now I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Let me know what you guys have to say. Drop a comment. Who are you taking, Grant or Campbell or somebody else? It's okay if there's somebody else, man. Multiple guests all day. Should the Bears go in a different direction? Tell me why, guys. I'd love to hear from you guys. So, but before you go, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn that notification bell on to all, man, and turn that on, man, because we want to go. We're about 2,800. I'm about ready to gift you guys a jersey, send it to you guys first class, ship it out the next day for the hardest worker in the building, the guy that shares all the videos, and there's actually a few that are leading the charge, the guy that hits the like button, the guy that shows up, or the lady that that does everything that we need to do to build this community. This community is you guys, man. You guys are all about it, and I love you guys. So because we're just getting started, guys. We got more draft coverage. 2025 is going to be a phenomenal year because of you guys, because of our Bears. And guess what? We're going to make freaking Coach Scarb's job a whole lot easier because we finally got some guys we want to see on the damn tape. We got some guys that we actually want to see the X's and O's, and he's going to draw it out and be like, well, the 3, the 4, the 5. Yeah, we really don't have a guy there, but this is what he should do, but he's not. He doesn't have to do that. There's going to be times where he's going to be elated and show us why he won in the trenches, why this play got extended, and all this really good stuff. We got more draft coverage, more big-time guests, and more Bears talk this whole offseason. Until next time, guys, bear down.
Packers suck.
Yeah, put FTB, man. If you touch and agree with Papa Scarbs. Till next time, guys. Bear down.
I have to needle my girl.
I hope she's in there, man.